Welcome back to Our Chicago, Black Voices of Change. In the midst of the pandemic, the whole world was watching as protests erupted over the death of George Floyd, an African-American man who died in police custody.
Well, among those protesting for change was photographer Vershawn Jordan Jr., who shows us what the movement looked like through his lens. ABC7's Jim Rose has the story.
Pandemic, politics, and protests. 3 words that defined 2020. They were the focal points of these powerful images. The man behind the camera, 21-year-old photographer Vershawn Jordan Jr.
Over the summer of 2020, I captured over 17,000 images. Everyone has something they can contribute. For me, it was photography. I photographed looting, but I also photographed positive events. I photographed Trump rallies, police rallies, everything that was going on. I made sure I gave them equal coverage, and I showed everyone. There are moments out here where I capture things that no news cameras capture. Black history and the Black experience is magical, and I wanted to make sure that that was held longer than a news cycle. It's very disheartening to see Black trauma and everything that we see in this country's history. So I wanted to make sure that we had moments where people are happy, smiling, dancing, and love, because that is revolutionary as well. I believe that no one can tell your story better than you can. So as a Black man covering these uprisings and these events that are happening to Black people, I'm able to convey this in a way that many others can't, because I live this experience and I know it innately.
Among the thousands of photos Vershawn Jordan Jr. captured all across the city of Chicago was this photo of activist Dom Brown. In just 4 days, Dom organized one of Chicago's largest summer protests, one that was peaceful with no arrests.
On June 6, 2020, an estimated 38,000 people gathered in Union Park to protest police brutality and the brutal murders of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery. I remember there being, it makes me so emotional. I remember there being 30,000 plus people behind me. And I remember growing up that my grandmother marched. I thought about my mother marching for me and for my rights and for the integrity of being Black, for the celebration of Blackness. In that moment, while we were at that intersection, I thought that how damning it is that I have to march for my nieces and nephews. And I thought how much it hurt that they're gonna have to grow up in a fight that seems like it's already taken a lifetime. I felt the weight of the world. And in that moment, when he snapped that picture, I had just broken. And I began to weep. It wasn't that I felt powerless. It was almost like I felt the power of my ancestors being like, it's time to fight. Like, it's time to overcome. And I lifted my head and I was like, my nieces and nephews will not march. I was like, this ends with my generation. This stops here. And we pressed on.
Dom knew the significance of keeping this demonstration peaceful and was clear on what message he wanted to send.
We intended on making a national statement that day, and the statement needed to be that we're stronger unified, we're stronger as one unit, and we're stronger peacefully. We wanted no one to have the opportunity to come at us and say, oh, you guys did this, but it turned violent. And anyone who was getting out of line, anyone that got close to a police officer, we made sure that they had the proper messaging. We made sure that we continued to speak peace. In our chants, the way that we were moving, the way that through the loudspeaker, you could hear a poem of peace. You could hear a poem of unity. It was important that this was perceived as wholesome, as effective, as unified as possible.
And for the future, Dom is hopeful for just one thing.
It's not even like an ultimate goal. I mean, I'm just looking for equality, you know? Like, it's not like this far-fetched, grandiose idea. I want a fair chance and a fair shake for people of color. I'm just asking for equality, and that's what the future feels like.
Thanks, JR. You know, Vershawn collected his most impactful photos to create a book entitled Chicago Protest, A Joyful Revolution. The book is available on Amazon.
Well done. So coming up next, everybody, see how this place is dispensing hope during these very tough economic times. And we meet the Chicago poet whose ode to our new vice president went viral.
The Black McDonald's Operators Association recognizes the Jesse White tumblers. JWT has provided a positive outlet for inner city youth. Jesse White tumblers continue to be a pillar in the community.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.